And we're back. He just gave me a tour of his car collection, quite fitting with the last section of the interview. And I gotta say, it's pretty cool. I would totally take a spin on some of those toys, but I'm not gonna tell you what kind or what year or. But it's pretty cool in his garage. Not advocating anyone break into it. I should shut up now. So now we're going to talk about energy. But first I want to know, because we talked about all the cars and traffic stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're running for delegate. Why?
Why? So, help with the traffic? No, I'm running for delegate, honestly, because I've been advocating for most of the things to make Maryland better is my goal. I've been advocating and trying to support things and rally for things for most of my adult life, and we're still not making the progress that we need to make to get these things done. And so I said, what more can I do? How can I help to get these things done? How can I help the people of Maryland? How can I get us to where we have better things, universal health care, free college, police accountability, this kind of stuff, that everyday common sense things that, just aren't happening in our legislature. And I decided to run. Somebody said, and this, I'm going to butcher the quote, but if you don't like something, then run for something. And it really spoke to me. And I thought, you know what? They're right. I don't like what's going on. I think we can do better. And so I'm going to run and I'm going to try and do better.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Why not?
Yep.
I know why I wouldn't, but kudos to those who put themselves out there and do it. And you say you're knocking on the door of every Democratic voter.
Yep. I'm trying to knock on every single Democratic voter in the district. I find that every vote counts, every voice matters, and one of the greatest things I found is even the people who don't vote have major things that they care about and things that that they've never talked to anybody about. But there are things that we can help with. There's things that we can do. We have, in Montgomery County, there's something called Inwood House. It is assisted living for people with mental handicaps. There's a 9.5-year wait for the rooms.
Wow, 9.5 years?
9.5 years. They even stopped taking applications. It was so long. And so obviously if there's that big of a demand, we need more of it. And there's things that people don't know. And these are people who actually work and they pay rent. And they get the assisted living that they need. But these are people who are trying to contribute to society. It's not like these people are just sitting around doing nothing all day. They actually have to pay rent. They have to try and support themselves. They learn skills like cooking, cleaning, stuff like that they maintain their own apartment. So
yeah. Okay, so one of your priorities you said is energy.
Yep.
Both the moving towards more renewable energy and just on a personal level trying to reduce your own energy use. Now, one of the things, I was with the Young Democrats in Annapolis last week, and there was some kind of controversy over the 50% versus the 100%?
Yes. So there's two bills in Annapolis right now. One of them is to get us to 100% renewable energy by 2035. The other one is going to do 50% energy by 2030. There are good things and bad things in both bills. So I'll start with the 50% bill. We talk a lot about the incinerator, which Montgomery County uses for a lot of its power. So this is where we take all of the trash in Montgomery County and surrounding areas, and we ship it to Dickerson, and we burn it. And this is what we use for power. We both get rid of our trash and we get energy out of it. It is not very clean. Both bills, luckily, do remove incineration from our renewable energy portfolio. So we're no longer going to call it renewable energy, or they're not going to get paid for it as they currently get a couple $100,000 for doing this a year. So that's the good thing in both bills. The 50% bill still leaves wood and black liquor. Black liquor is a byproduct of paper mills. And what we do is we burn that and we get energy from that. It also is a very...
Also not clean.
Yes, thank you. And so the 100% bill does that. Gets rid of all of them that are considered dirty energy. increases the the green energy up to 100%. It does not have retraining. So in the 50% bill, we have retraining for coal workers and natural gas plant operators. My understanding is that's not in the 100 bill.
Oh, that's interesting. 'Cause that seems like one of the answers, as we were talking about before, the Ken Bone question. How do you take care of jobs and the workers of the industry and then move towards environmental sustainability? So that's interesting that 100% doesn't have that.
So I definitely think we need to retrain these people. And the interesting thing is we're not talking about a lot of people. It's less than 500 people in Maryland who work in the coal plants. Most people don't realize that we're not actually talking about a large number. And when we talk about the number of people who work in the solar industry, we're talking about in the thousands. So the green energy jobs are substantially more than the dirty energy jobs. So, and they're always hurting for people who are trained and knowledgeable on how to do like solar installation. We're also talking about building in Baltimore a wind turbine plant.
Cool.
So that is the offshore wind farm that you've heard about that they've been talking about for at least 10 years, I think, off the coast of Ocean City. As part of that, they're actually going to put the plant where they're going to build the wind turbines in Baltimore. So it's a Baltimore revitalization project.
More jobs, too.
More jobs, and it will also generate the jobs offshore. So they've been talking about this for many years as well. The big hiccup with this one is the people in Ocean City have been fighting it because they don't want to see the wind turbines.
Oh, that argument's been everywhere, but really,
so
it's not even gonna, like, wouldn't they be far enough out that it's not gonna interfere with people on the beach? I mean,
so
if you're out by the wind turbines, you're already kind of in deep shit.
Well, there's 17 miles offshore, and to put this in perspective, if you hold your hand out at the furthest extent and you look down at your thumbnail, that's how big the wind turbines are going to appear. On a perfectly clear day, no clouds, no mist, nothing, you'll barely be able to see your thumbnail held out at the far end of your arm. And that's what they've been fighting this over for 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah, people will be a obstructionist.
Yes.
If they buy into propaganda, which is probably funded by someone with questionable ties. Who knows?
Hotel industry is the one that's been fighting it. Because that's one they think people are going to stop going to Ocean City because of a thumbnail.
Oh no, they won't stop because you know what? Larry Hogan extended summer vacation.
That's right, so they get that extra week of revenue.
Yeah. Because
the governor knows better than the teachers what's.
Sure, I'm sure he does. But what about jobs in coal? You know, because don't they need to? Didn't Trump say we're gonna invest in a beautiful, clean coal? Like, are they gonna take the coal and then clean it? What about those people?
So
sorry, I had to. I'm not meaning to joke on this.
So clean coal is an interesting concept that's been around for many, many years. It does not exist in the United States, as far as I know, because all of our coal plants pollute pretty badly. If we try
beautiful, clean coal.
Beautiful, clean coal. Okay. That's why the coal plants are way out in the middle of nowhere in the habitually poor areas, because, you know, people are going to fight them if they try and put them anywhere. You know, there's a bunch of NIMBYs, and I'm pretty sure that Trump does not want a clean coal plant next to Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, well, I mean, Mar-a-Lago might be underwater in a few decades.
That's true, but, you know, I think that would be a great place for his clean coal plant, don't you?
I think it would be, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been cases of that, too. I mean, now, I shouldn't bring this up if I don't remember the specifics. Or it might have been Rex Tillerson was advocating for some, or there was something, like, they were going to have some kind of oil drilling near his personal
so actually that was, Michael Moore rented a boat and had a drilling platform that he was going to go off the coast of Mar-a-Lago so you could see it from the golf course and start drilling there.
Oh, God.
And they suddenly had regulation.
Oh, suddenly they want regulation? Oh, no way.
You are not going to put that oil rig next to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't mean to be so snarky, but it's just too easy. So, going back to tying this all together, as delegate, I mean, considerably you would be representing District 19 and MoCo, but it sounds like this could be some area, and I could be giving too much naive credit to people on the other side of the aisle, but do you see having any kind of bipartisan support from, say, delegates in Western Maryland on some kind of renewable trading bill or something?
Think there would be a lot of bipartisan support, especially for wind. Western Maryland is typically economically depressed. It's hard to find good jobs there, and that's where our mountains are. And mountains are great for wind. So I think there would be a lot of bipartisan support to get wind farms out there, get people trained on how to install them, maintain them, keep them operational. I believe that would be a great thing for Western Maryland. Plus, we could probably talk about putting up maybe a second factory where they make wind turbines out there. Cumberland's a big city, and it's very underutilized, except for prisons. But it'd be a great boon, I think, even to Western Maryland's economy. And I think solar in the middle parts. So we had solar installed on our house, and it's been a great boon. I have yet to meet the person who's installed solar on their house and regretted it. I'm not saying that they don't exist. Actually, I know some people who had problems with solar, but they're not many. And it's, the one thing I can think of is the Prince George's County regulation is it has to be a foot back. So you have that walkway, and so some of the people's rain gutters have fallen down in the snow.
Oh.
But that's something that they're working on in Prince George's County to fix.
Kinks to work out. It's
but in
the grand scheme of things.
Montgomery County, Howard County, Anne Arundel County, I have yet to meet the person who's actually regretted installing solar. So for us, we have Pepco. Love Pepco, right? It costs us 14 cents per kilowatt hour from Pepco. Solar City, which does the leasing program, it only costs 9 cents, it's my understanding. So you're saving a nickel for every kilowatt hour you produce with solar. So, I mean, there's a lot of benefits to solar in this area.
Yeah, it sounds it. But what happens when it's cloudy outside?
Well, I will be honest and say it doesn't produce that much. And there was a period...
Angry cat. Hungry cat.
Hungry. There was a period, I think a couple years ago, we actually got 22 days of cloud cover in a row. If I remember correctly, and it rained. It was a very depressing spring.
Spring is depressing because you think it's gonna be warm but it's really not.
Yes,
and it was wet. And then it's hot and humid, and then you're sick of it. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah. So I mean, but overall, I mean, while it's there and while it's producing, it's great. And the other thing that's really nice about the Solar City system is they install it for free. There's no cost out front for the homeowners. Yeah,
that's really cool. And it seems like there's... and it was something that 10 years ago was a lot more expensive.
Yes.
And now it's dramatically...
Prices are coming down dramatically.
Yeah. Now, just in general, energy use and renewable seems like, again, not talking about the Trump voter here. Not talking about the people who believe that climate change is a hoax by the Chinese or what have you. But it seems like this could be a place to really bring together both sides of the aisle. Because libertarians, true libertarians want to, they believe climate change is real. They believe in the free market of ideas. Science wins. And then it's a discussion over the role of government versus the private sector. And maybe both. Synergies, a greater result from both teaming up. So it seems like there is a role for both. You have your government regulations to curb the assholes, and then
Yep.
Sorry for my language. It's been a long day. and then the innovation from the private sector. It seems like a win-win for both sides. I mean, do you foresee this happening, or is this my Tacoma Park bubble naivete, assuming that people are just going to jump on board?
So honestly, I think there's going to be resistance, but once people find out, A, it has more jobs, B, they're better paying jobs, C, it's going to make it cheaper for everybody in the long run, and D, it's going to save the environment, which, is a very nice benefit, but I think what's really going to drive it home for the other side of the aisle, honestly, is the fact that they're saving money, they're creating jobs, and they're spawning innovation. There's startup companies all over Maryland that are doing nothing but solar because it's such a booming area. And I think that's a real growth sector for us. And I think that's what's going to really drive home the point that we need to get to renewable energies.
Yeah, and it seems like a win-win. And I think if we... I've snarked enough today, but it's really... I'm not a snarky person. It's just I've spent too much time in the car. too much time on highways and transportation. But I think when we abandon just kind of the ad hominems and the partisan bickering, we can find some kind of agreements. And then it's just, the debate is, like I said, role of private sector, role of government.
Yep.
See where we compensate each other. And yeah. Okay, so to close this out, I just want to know kind of what efforts you take or recommend taking to personally reduce your carbon footprint. I mean, we talked a lot about transportation. When there is public transit that works and is reliable, we can take it. But we do love our cars.
We do love our cars.
I mean, you love your multiple cars. I like my 12-year-old Corolla. That's sentimental. Other than what you drive, have you taken steps to reduce your energy use, or is there any kind of initiatives you see going around Aspen Hill? I mean, Tacoma Park, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're shunned if you use plastic or
So the biggest things that people do in this area, I think, are home improvements in a way. Sidings, windows, insulation is a huge one. Insulation is probably the cheapest and the most cost-effective thing that you can do for your house, especially if you have areas that are not well insulated. Some of the other things I see is people, as simple as putting up a plastic film around your window. So
I didn't even think of that.
In Frostburg, me and my wife were out there, and we were in an apartment for one summer or winter. We were up there in the winter, and we could literally feel the heat leaving through the window.
Oh.
The windows were that bad, but it was an apartment, and our landlord didn't care. So what we did was we put up a little plastic film, and we just taped around it, and that kept in so much heat from, just something as simple as saran wrap on the window, basically.
I like that. Simple fixes that save money and energy.
The other one you can do is, and I see a lot of people who've done this, is peel around your doors. Doors are a major center for leaking air in your house. And so some people put towels down on the bottoms. They also sell this really cheap insulation that you can just basically peel the back and stick onto the door. That can also better seal up the door. So there are some very simple things to keep the warm air in, the cold air out.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about in the summer? How do you keep your home cool when it's 100 and humid?
So it depends on how you want. The cheapest option you can really do, it takes a couple years, but plant a tree. Plant a nice tree next to your windows, and you'll have a really nice shade center.
Yeah, I'm fortunate. My place is quite shady. It's a shady place. And just kind of the way the building is built and the way it faces, and the huge tree and then the screened-in porch. I'm fortunate that I feel much cooler when I go inside. I barely even ever use air conditioning. Mm-hmm. But some places, you know, and it gets really gross here
Yep.
in the summer.
We're lucky enough in our house, we have a whole house fan. So we can open up the windows and turn that on. And man, it'll cool the house down like 15 to 20 degrees easily.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Well, any other kind of energy saving advice?
They do free audits, so you can find this stuff. I believe Pepco does one. BG&E has a similar program if you guys are actually in BG&E territory. Then there's also programs that you can go out and you can help get funding for some of this stuff if it's a major project as well. You might be able to qualify for grants and stuff like that. Or you can also contact the community college because they actually have a trade school built into it where they do this stuff. And they like real world experience as well. So it might save you money there.
Again, these cases of everybody winning. There's so much winning. We're going to be tired of winning.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Montgomery County great again. Make Montgomery County green again.
Like that.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you. And these were two really interesting segments. Again, like we know each other. I know your wife. We're all in Progressive Maryland and have our inside jokes or whatever.
Yep.
So bear with us. And thank you all for watching. And stay tuned. I got much more coming up. New blogs. Gotta counter this statement about... oh God. Well, I gotta react to yesterday's county executive debate, and I have to react to something that was written recently about business growth and development and misconceptions about that. And also I'm soon to be interviewing Ana Sol Gutierrez.
Oh.
And I've met her once, but people say that she's interesting to talk to. We're also got another good friend coming back on to talk about rent stabilization. So stay tuned, and it's June 26th is coming faster than anyone is prepared for. But for now, take care.